and this goes all the way back now, almost 6 years ago. And as one of the quotes that Justin Lum has shared with us many times, it started in Arizona, it's going to end in Arizona, the wheels of justice. So we keep watching what happens on the stand, and I wanted to share this with you, and then we're going to get a chance to hear from Justin himself with his take on where things stand.
The device has clearly departed the scene well before the 911 call and does not return until after the 911 call. The distances make it entirely implausible that the device went all that way that quickly, plus the timestamps are logged prior to the event. And so again, I could see only two possible interpretations. Either the shooting happened much earlier than we were told, or the device and the person bearing it, which I understand to be Ms. Vallow, left well before the shooting occurred. I don't see a third option.
Okay, so let's get the interpretation of why that's important. Justin does join us right now. Justin, walk us through that whole scenario.
Yeah, so this is Detective Ariel Werther with the Chandler Police Department, and his testimony is so crucial in really bringing the jury into the timeline of that day, July 11, 2019. The shooting of Charles Vallow happened sometime after 7:30 in the morning when he arrives at the home of Lori Vallow and gets into this alleged fight with her brother Alex Cox. But from what we know, Lori left the scene not only in Charles's rental car, but also took Charles's phone. So these two devices basically act as GPS locators, as tracking devices, and Chandler police are able to put this evidence together and show where she goes that time after without ever calling 911. Lori and her kids stop at the Burger King drive-thru, and then they also stop at a Walgreens. She buys a pair of flip-flops. We've never seen this video publicly of her going into the Walgreens there, and she had told the jury that she basically ran out of the house without shoes on and she needed something to wear. But it looks like, as we've slowed it down the video, she has something on her feet, some sort of footwear apparel. But she buys 2 pairs of flip-flops and then takes JJ to school in Gilbert at Life Academy and comes back to the scene about an hour later after the shooting happened. And remember, she did not call 911. It was her brother Alex who actually called 911. So they're showing this big gap in time.
And how long was it before he called 911? That
was 45 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah,
right.
45 minutes after the shooting, and CPR was not done, according to first responders and from testimony that we've heard, that it doesn't, no indication that someone tried to save him.
Yeah. So one of my questions for you, Justin, and Syleste joins as well. We'll hear from her. But in terms of this trial's moving, to me it seems very quickly. I'm sure to you it doesn't seem like it's been at warp speed, but why is that happening? What's your take on that?
Well, it is day 7. It feels like day 20, but we've had 18 witnesses, and what you're seeing from the prosecution, Trina Kay for the Maricopa County Attorney's Office, she is basically on cruise control. She has not been stopped by much objection by Lori Vallow Daybell, who's acting as her own attorney. We have not heard much from her as direct exam is done. And so these witnesses are going through, and sometimes Lori Vallow will cross-examine the witnesses, but really there's not much there. She's not a professional. She doesn't have that experience. So they could rest their case as early as today, maybe tomorrow, if they get through these last 3 witnesses, which we know all these remaining witnesses are from the Chandler Police Department.
Okay. I know a lot of people have been watching literally moment by moment. You have watched the whole feed come in, you and our producer, George Obie. Have there been, to you, you're probably as well qualified, I think, as anybody to answer this, any real surprises in the trial?
You know, I think it's been surprising how it seems like almost like Lori is trying to smear the victim here, her then husband, Charles Vallow, her 4th husband.
The whole thing about she had the lady that had been dating him the night before.
The night before.
Did you know he was a married man? You dated a married man?
I don't.
She was in a relationship at the very time.
Yeah, and
wasn't
the jury
she?
may not know that she was in an affair with Chad Daybell, but
Okay.
I don't think that comes across well to a jury when the defendant is basically, looks like she's picking on a witness. And yesterday she cross-examines that detective we just saw and asked him if he knew about Charles's plans dating a couple different women he had scheduled for that coming day on July 11th and beyond. And the judge had to scold her that that's not relevant to the case. It doesn't matter if Charles had 5 dates lined up. It doesn't matter. They were estranged at the time, and they were going through their own problems. What is not justified here is the shooting. Now, obviously, she's trying to prove that it's self-defense, but the prosecution has laid out all the evidence to show that this is not the type of self-defense that you normally see. There's a lack of evidence in the house that shows there was a big fight. The prints on the bat that allegedly Charles used to hit Alex Cox, that the prints don't even match to Charles, the latent prints. There are many things that witnesses have brought out to show that this wasn't a big old fight.
I want to let Syleste get in here, but one more question. In terms of what we heard on the stand that day, why is it important, if in fact she was gone from the home at the time that the shooting actually happened, why is it still important to kind of track her movements?
Well, I think it's important to show that she didn't stay at the home. I think the jury's wondering why someone who just lost their husband, or their husband was just shot and killed basically in the same vicinity as them in that home, why they didn't call 911, why they didn't perform CPR, and why her demeanor seemed to be so cold and nonchalant. That's the word that we've heard to describe her as nonchalant, unemotional, and detached from the situation. Even on the way to the police department for her interview, very chatty. And she tried to flip the tables on the one of the detectives in cross and say that she wasn't treated like a victim, even though she was put in the family advocacy room. You know, she was offered a drink of water and things like that. She was not treated as a suspect right away and put in an interrogation room.
Syleste, I've monopolized Justin's time
I'm
just
so
about
glad
enough.
You did. No, these are great questions.
Yeah.
Justin, good morning.
Good morning.
One of the questions I had too that was interesting was the recording from the insurance agent. That was
Huge.
telling.
Yeah, and there were 2 calls, but basically Lori Vallow Daybell didn't know that she wasn't the beneficiary anymore. When she finds out a week later, a week after the shooting, she was determined to call and find out what has happened here. And then she sort of gets passive aggressive on the phone because she's frustrated. She says she has a 7-year-old with autism that she has to take care of. She's been married to Charles for 15 years, and she just can't believe that he did this. But he had done this months before in March, because even months before March, he had already gone to Gilbert Police and said that Lori was threatening him, that she believed that she had powers, that she believed she was a god, and all of these, end of times beliefs that were scaring him. So that's why he changed the beneficiary to his sister, Kay Woodcock. And so a lot of testimony has been heard by the jury to show this motivation for this $1 million life insurance policy, her surprise, her anger, but her lack of emotional response to his death.
Okay. Justin, I feel like every time we talk about it, I learn some new details. So we really appreciate you spending a few minutes here on Fox 10 Talks, and we'll be watching as the day goes on, also right here on YouTube. Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah, well done, buddy.
Hey, you know who that is, Syleste? That is the Democrat Senator Van Hollen, Senator Van Hollen, who just announced yesterday that he was going to be going to
El Salvador.
And these are the pictures of him at the airport with his carry-on.
Is he headed there to pick up some coffee, or what's the whole purpose of the trip? Is he going with his wife?
He's there, of course, to try to advocate for the release of Kilmar Abrego Garcia. And so the administration is saying that, look, he was deported last month. We already heard from El Salvador, literally from the president of El Salvador, saying, okay, he's here, and I'm not going to release him. And the President Trump saying, well, I'm not going to release him. And so despite the fact that a federal judge has been ruling on it, we're going to watch to see. My prediction is it's going to probably be a photo op. I just would be shocked if they allow him into the prison for an individual interview, but we'll watch as the day goes on.
Well, the question is whether or not he may need the approval of the president of the country, because this is a discussion that was just had with the president of El Salvador and President Trump, and the El Salvadorian president said, no, I'm not going to release him.
Yeah.
And so I can't imagine he would allow him inside, but you never know.
Yeah. Well, we've got some federal judges that are watching it. We've had the Supreme Court already with one ruling, and we'll just see how the day unfolds today. But it is also, I think, really interesting. If you're familiar with the name Letitia James, the Trump administration has referred her, not in her capacity as the Attorney General of New York, but as a citizen, for potential prosecution over alleged mortgage fraud. This story just coming in from Fox today. She declared no one's above the law when, of course, there was that big trial where Donald Trump was on trial. But she's been hit now with a federal criminal referral for instances of alleged mortgage fraud. The Federal Housing Finance Agency sent the info to Pam Bondi, the AG, alleging that she had falsified some records to get home loans for better rates than she otherwise would have for a property in Virginia that she claimed was her principal residence at the whole time she was in New York as the prosecutor of that state. So we'll see how it all plays out. But boy, that is certainly making some big headlines today. And then the other thing that is making headlines, Celeste, has to do just a little bit. I think, by the way, if you're not familiar with who we're talking about, there's Letitia James in that case. Now, our poll question today has to do with this showdown, this high-stake showdown between Donald Trump, the president, and Harvard, maybe the wealthiest university in the country, all having to do with some $2 billion in grant funds that have been frozen by the administration, saying Harvard hasn't done nearly enough to address anti-Semitism on campus. Harvard says, oh, yes, we have. So you got a showdown going on there. Keep one thing in mind. Harvard has a $53 billion with a B dollar endowment.
Yes.
So they got a lot of money. They can afford to fight this in court.
And I think it had to do with DEI as well, Ron.
Yes, that's a good point.
Them not following some of the rules set aside by the Trump administration.
Right.
And this was a mandate that was sent out to all universities.
Yep.
And companies. In fact, they just got rid of the DEI, procedures.
Yep.
Within companies. So
Okay.
Harvard said, no, we're not going to do it.
It is our poll question, and we'll show you how people.
Mention it and then go.
By the way, no extra charge for that quick, as we call it in the business, MCU of one Syleste Rodriguez coming right out of
I'm
the
like,
break. We
what's
got to
that?
keep your fan club happy, Syleste.
Oh, Ron, you're sweet. Let's go to the mystery
All
cam.
right, let's go do it. Hey, this is for everybody watching at home. This is the first chance you've had to see it. Do you have a guess, Syleste? And we will.
Oh gosh, it's
just
beautiful.
Take a look.
Okay, the type of building off in the distance,
Huh?
and then you have these waters. You know,
Gosh, it looks very Carolina-ish. to
it
me.
does look
But
Carolina-ish.
I mean, it could be Georgia or Florida, those parts of
You
the
know,
South.
I might actually go Georgia because I was looking at those houses. Don't you think? Like, what about Mississippi?
Okay, I feel like
Mm-hmm.
we want to take a look at if anybody has any guesses. You know, we love to get your guesses in because, frankly,
Oh, we got
you
a
guys-
Michigan. Got
you
a Michigan from Frankie.
Okay.
Frankie D.
Frankie D. We appreciate Frankie D. All right, Michigan sounds good. But I'm remembering we showed a live cam from Michigan earlier today on the TV show.
Okay.
And there was still snow on the ground.
Okay, so it's not Michigan.
Yeah.
What about B. Miguel says Vermont?
Okay.
And let's
Husky
see.
Mom.
Love her name.
Yeah.
Louisiana.
Oh, Louisiana
That's
is
a great
actually
guess.
a great guess because it has that kind of bayou look to
It
it.
does. I was trying to think of the water type of waterway.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay.
I might go with Husky Mom.
Louisiana?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to go with the Carolinas. Do I have to pick one, Celeste? What are your rules?
We have.
on your-
Well, pick one of the 50 states, Ron.
All right, fine. I'm going to say South Carolina.
Okay, South
Okay,
Carolina.
And you're Louisiana. Here she
This
is,
is the
everybody.
mystery cam.
Okay, right.
Kelly has been doing an amazing job, by the way. He chooses these.
Yeah.
Oh, Dagsboro, Delaware.
Are you kidding me? That's Delaware?
Yeah.
Joe Biden's home state?
Wow.
Okay, well, they get a lot of water there. We know
They
they've got the
do.
beach. He loves hanging out at the beach.
In Rehoboth.
Yes, correct.
Rehoboth Beach.
Okay,
Nice
so
work,
there
everyone.
is our mystery cam. By the way, if this is the first time you've been watching us, and we know we have people that watch all around the world,
Yes.
this is Fox 10 Talks. And for today, I think and into the future, we're live at 10 a.m. for a full hour, continuing the information and the conversation. And we would love it if you would join us every day, number one. And then if you're watching in the chat box, which we have a lot of people watching today,
We do.
Tell us where you're watching from. We have people who watch from all over the U.S., just about every state. The U.K., we have
Do
a
you
lot
see,
of viewers.
Ron, we have Deb Foltz from Illinois. Welcome,
Oh,
Deb.
nice,
Good
Deb.
morning, Deb.
Excellent.
Yeah, thanks for hanging with
Okay.
us.
At first, I thought Deb was guessing Illinois for the mystery camp, but she's from Illinois.
Yes.
Good. All right. We want to know where you guys are. We hope you'll join us every day. All right. So let's get to the poll question, shall we, Celeste? We promised
Let's
this
do it.
right before the break. And here is, okay, so Celeste, on TV,
Yes, sir.
I do we call it a tease in our business, and that was about 40 minutes ago. And already we've jumped up to over 300 votes. Who is right in this showdown? And I like the way it's kind of sort of evenly split.
Yeah, it's 47% of you who voted in the poll. By the way, there's a link at the top of the chat box. If you all want to vote, we'd love to hear from you if you haven't already voted. But 47% of you say Trump anti-Semitism on any campus should stop now. 30% of you say Harvard government shouldn't be telling them what to do. And 23% of you say, why does ultra-wealthy Harvard need a dime of taxpayer money?
I bet you know, I put these poll questions together every day. And that was my question right from the start. Before the yes or the no or the Trump versus Harvard, I'm like, what? They have an endowment of $53 billion.
Yeah.
I mean, even if they're keeping all of that in like a local branch of Chase Bank or Wells Fargo, and they go down.
Maybe
if you've
there's
got
a credit
53
union,
billion
Ron. Maybe
and
there's
you're
a
only
credit
earning 1%, you're still earning a ridiculous amount of money, right?
You know, it gives you it gives you an idea of how much money not just Harvard has, but
Yeah.
probably several of the Ivies,
Oh.
because they all have opted out of that NCAA lawsuit that's ongoing.
Oh, with the NIL and the House settlement and all
yeah,
that,
I've
yeah.
been keeping a close eye on that, and all the Ivies have opted out, so they're choosing not to take money
Okay.
from, so they have a lot of money.
Isn't that a big part of this whole argument? Harvard is like, well, we're not going to allow the government to tell us who we can hire or who our students are or anything along those lines. The real argument is, do you want this money?
Yeah.
If you do, there are some strings attached.
There's rules.
If you don't want this money, do whatever you want.
Well,
right?
Ron,
We
it's
don't have
like-
any purse strings to control you.
Well, it's like anybody else. It's like if you want to get paid,
Yes.
you got to work.
Yeah.
But if you don't want to, if you don't care about the money, then don't worry. You don't have to come to work. But there's always something you have to do.
All right. All right, so thank you for your votes on the poll question. We'll check it again, but my prediction is by the end of the day today, we'll have over 1,000 votes, maybe a lot more.
I think you're right.
There is some concern about oops, hold on here. There we go. About Target, and here's why. They have just announced a recall over their baby food from their own brand.
Oh, no.
Yeah, we're talking about 25,000 packages of their Good and Gather baby pea and zucchini and kale and thyme puree. It's the one in the 4-ounce tubs, and it includes lot number 4167, best by date of December 7th, and 4169, best by date of December the 9th. But I don't know in your family, Celeste, but I know in my family, a Target run like 3 times a week is pretty common. I think the majority of Americans probably are inside a Target store at least once a week.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Do you do pickup, or are you you walk into the store?
I'm not in that group of Americans, Celeste. Well, because I get home, and either between my daughter or my wife, somebody already went to Target today and they're probably going tomorrow. I don't really need to.
Well, I have to say that the one good thing I think that came out of COVID was the pick up your groceries, pick up your item. That has saved me so much money.
Yeah.
And maybe you all in the chat box can chime in on this too. It has saved so much money because I'm not perusing through the aisle and going, oh, I probably could have that, even though it wasn't on my list.
Do it all on your phone.
Everything's on the phone.
Yeah.
Everything's there. You swing and pick up.
Right.
The kids, you're not taking them in.
Right.
They're not picking out extra items.
What percentage of a mom or dad's bill, grocery bill or just inside the store, is tacked on if you do bring the kids? If you had, is that like a 10% surcharge?
I think depending
20%?
on the age of the kid. I mean, when you have an infant, they're obviously not pulling stuff off the shelf.
Right.
But if you have like a teenager, it could be like an extra $30 or something.
I
think.
bet,
You know,
right?
just like random snacks, or they see a pair of earrings.
I never really thought about that, but that actually eliminates all that stress.
All the stress.
From a mom or a dad's everyday life.
Thank you.
Love it. Okay, let's talk a little bit about some good news in the business world this morning, particularly, if you wait a second here, I'm trying to get over, there it is, Barnes & Noble. So
I love this story.
This is so great. So the demise of brick and mortar was greatly exaggerated, Celeste. Barnes & Noble, which if you're talking about getting out of the car and going into a store, I think is number one on my list of favorite places to go.
Yes. Well, they have a coffee shop at a lot of their locations too. You can kind of hang out.
And just their magazine section alone. I mean, they probably have 400 magazines you can choose from.
Yep.
But they did announce that they are, let me go back to that, sorry. VO4, that's correct. Barnes & Noble has announced that business is booming, and they're going to add dozens and dozens of new stores across the U.S. this year. We got to dig into it to find if Arizona is on that list. We would love to have a few more, that's for sure. I would say maybe kind of out in that Queen Creek area.
Yes.
Because there is one at Santan Mall.
Yeah.
Possibly Eastmark, possibly right by my house.
Maybe.
There's an empty lot. About 3 lots away.
Oh, right in the hood.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe like Barnes & Noble in the hood.
Yeah, for sure.
But we do have an Angela Brockelman in the chat. She said, I love handheld books. I think there is a sense of feeling victorious and going, okay, I have read half the book.
Okay.
I've read 3/4 of the book.
Yes.
I mean, a Kindle, it's very helpful if you're traveling.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
It's very thin.
Yes.
But there's something about a handheld book.
I totally agree. Every year I MC I think it might be the world's largest 2-day used book sale. It's for the VNSA.
Yes.
And I remember about 12, 13, 14 years ago when things like the Kindle and the Nook were, they were really promoting them.
Yes.
And we were all worried books were just going to fade away. I think most people, maybe that's a future poll question. I think most people agree with you.
Yeah, they like handheld
real
books.
book,
Like
right?
Linda Monterth in the chat. She says, love handheld books, but I'm running out of physical space to store them. Ooh, maybe we should do a trade.
Ah, right.
Yeah, here's another one. Sherry Wolf says, what is everyone reading right now?
Oh,
Well, that's
there
a
you
good
go.
question.
Yeah.
Maybe because then you have ideas on maybe what is your next book you're going to pick up.
Ooh, I like that. Okay.
Okay, that's a good question.
Yeah, currently I am listening to a book all about the Battle of the Alamo.
Ooh.
Because if you're not aware,
Yes.
we also have a new streaming show here on the Fox 10 Fox local app
Yes.
that is all about history.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to be recording one today, and you can be able to see it, I think, probably starting on Friday. All about the amazing story of the Alamo, a story that everybody needs to know more about.
So the Alamo, is San Antonio, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, so have you been to San Antonio?
Yes.
Are you going to go back after you finish listening to this to relive that experience?
Probably, yeah. It's the whole Riverwalk is
Yeah.
an amazing place.
I know. And real quick, Ryan, you mentioned the audiobook.
Yeah.
There is an app out there if you guys want to do an audiobook. It's called Libby. And
Okay.
it hooks up to public libraries. I use it.
Does it include the word F-R-E-E, Celeste?
It does. The best four-letter word that exists in the language, American language.
It is the best word of them all.
The best F word that exists.
Right.
But it's free. It's a Libby, Libby, and it hooks up to your local library. You can download any book, any audiobook for free.
Okay. We're going to have to take a break, but just real quick, I did want to update everybody on the Dolly Parton Airport.
Ooh.
Here's what's happened so far. Fans are clamoring for it to rename Nashville Airport as the Dolly Parton Nashville Airport. Mm-hmm. And the pair behind it now say the petition is continuing to just boom. More than 50,000 signatures on change.org.
It's
Come
amazing.
on, Nashville. What is the holdup? Let's get going. Wouldn't that be a great way to honor her?
Oh, I think so.
I think so,
And maybe they can call it like Jolene, like Terminal, like
Jolene Terminal 1, 9 to 5, Terminal 2. Oh,
just use her songs, or like maybe there's like a Jolene Cafe Jolene inside.
Well, everybody, we welcome you to the 1 Hour Club. We have had a lot of our regulars in the chat box over the last, well, I don't know, probably 6 months say, come on, a half hour is too fast. We need an hour of Fox 10 talk. So we're doing that for you today, and I think into the future as well. We've got a great interview coming up for you here in just the next couple of minutes. But before we do that, there's just a couple of stories we did want to share with you this morning. And here at 10:30, one of them has to do with that American pastor who got kidnapped at gunpoint. Have you heard this? He's been rescued. Apparently there was really kind of a heart-stopping rescue operation, part of a kind of deadly shootout in South Africa. Josh Sullivan, he was kidnapped last week while he was literally in the process of preaching, like nothing is sacred. But police there say he's now safe after the rescue operation, and that 3 of his kidnappers were killed during the shootout. Let me give you just a little bit more on this right now.
The devices clearly departed the scene well before the 911 call.
Sorry?
And does not return until after the 911 call.
Okay, so we apparently don't have that one for you, but we do have the information, which is that his congregation is already speaking out this morning saying it's a miracle from God that he was safely delivered from his captors. So often when a story like that happens, it really does create so many problems. Okay, so I'm just going to check with the control room. I want to go to Lindsay's package now as one of our SOTs, if you guys think you have it. This is the beauty of a streaming show, by the way. Regarding, oh, by the way, there's the pastor for you. Okay, so you can see where he was preaching. And boy, a story like this, where it's all's well that ends well, frankly, is such surprising good news that we're so glad that we can report to you on it. Okay, so I'm just going to ask one more time. Are you guys able to roll it for me? Lindsay's package? No. Okay. When we find it, let's go to that, because we have a great little story here for you this morning. It sounds like a real life version of Lassie. But what we're going to do right now is tell you a little bit more about an act that legislators around the country, legislatures are passing, and it has just passed and just been signed into law by our governor. Is that correct? Or actually it's on her way to the governor's desk. But here's the bottom line. The Stolen Valor Act passed by a vote of 29-1. And the legislation would make it a felony to lie about military service for personal or political gain. In February, lawmakers in the House unanimously passed the bill. And then in the Senate, Wendy Rogers, the chairwoman there of the Judiciary Committee, did, in fact, kill it, but brought it back after several, I guess you could say, rounds of negotiation. She said, look, this is compromise. This is what it's all about. She wanted to see some changes. And that was exactly what happened. So we are going to be talking to, this is, I think, really a treat for you, because we're able to chat with the man who I think more than just about anybody in the country it has been saying it's time for these Stolen Valor Acts to be in place in all 50 states. It's Anthony Anderson. And so he is this advocate on stolen valor. Anthony, thanks for joining us today. Tell me just a little bit about what it was that first got you involved in this fight to honestly protect the valor of every true veteran who served.
Well, actually, it started way back in 2009 for me. I was still at active duty. Just got back from Afghanistan, actually, and I was on Facebook. Facebook pages had just started becoming a thing. I was an infantryman. We started an infantryman Facebook page where all of us could just kind of get together and just share stories and whatnot. And someone brought up a story about a guy in Florida that he thought was lying about his service. First time, I mean, at that point, I'd probably served 7 years. I'd never heard of stolen valor. and said he was lying about his service and was getting free benefits from the VA based off of a fake DD-214. So this piqued my interest. So I kind of started doing some research, which led me to some scholars in this arena that had already done this: Doug Sterner, Mary Shantag, Chuck Shantag of the POW Network. Doug Sterner and his wife actually wrote the original federal stolen valor law. So they kind of took me under their wings and they showed me how to start doing these investigations. And I've been doing it since then. My organization, Guardian of Valor, has been around for, like I said, since 2009. We've helped prosecute many, many cases. We've helped several states get their own legislation passed. I've given testimony in several states. Maryland was one that I gave testimony to. The federal stolen valor law, the original 2005 Act, was struck down because it was unconstitutional, violated freedom of speech, which I did agree with, because under that law, you know, if me and a buddy were in the bar and some dude came up and said, "Hey, I was a Navy SEAL," under that law, he could have been prosecuted, which I completely agree should not happen.
Yeah.
You know, fish stories are going to be fish stories. That's your freedom of speech.
Sure.
So they went back to the drawing board after the Supreme Court shot it down, and they made the federal stolen valor, the 2013 Stolen Valor Act.
All right.
The problem with that,
No, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, go right ahead.
The problem with the federal law is it's way too constrained. You have to claim certain awards, and you know it has to be federally prosecuted. And there's been very, very few that were prosecuted under the federal law. So that's where the states started stepping up and saying, "Hey, we need to do something about this." New Jersey and Florida were one of the first states to step up and do this. Florida currently has the strongest stolen valor law on the book, which is what the Arizona stolen valor law was kind of made after.
Well,
we looked at that law and we kind of brought it over to Arizona and made a few tweaks.
Okay.
And that's how it sits now in the Senate, or actually going to the governor's desk
Boy,
to be signed.
yeah, I wish we had so much more time, but over the course of these last several years that you've been involved in this, give us an example, if you would, of maybe one of the more egregious lies that have been promulgated out there by people who should have known better.
Actually, I've been doing this for a while, and one of the most egregious, I would have to say, is right there in your own state, Steve Slayton. Unfortunately, not only did he lie about his service in Vietnam, he lied about the Cobra pilot, or the Cobra chopper that he had been flying. After I started digging into his story, Molly Ottman from the Mountain Daily Star reached out to me and said, "Hey, you know, we need your help with this. You know, this guy's running for office here in our state, and we think he's lying about his service. You know, he's got this 214. It doesn't look real." So I did my own due diligence, did my own investigation, pulled his records from NPRC. Never served in Vietnam, never was a helicopter pilot. And the most egregious lie that he told was of the chopper that he was in, which was the Mean Mr. Mustard. I reached out to the Vietnam Veterans Helicopter Association, which is a organization that has all of your current living helicopter pilots from Vietnam. And I talked to a lot of those guys. They sent me memos, sworn statements. Some of them had served in the same unit as Steve. And the chopper that he claims to have flown was actually shot down by the NBA in 1972, the Mean Mr. Mustard. It crashed on top of a NVA bunker after being hit by an SA-7 rocket.
Yeah.
The two pilots survived. Well, as the pilots were getting out of the helicopter, the NVA came out of the bunker and slaughtered these two American heroes on that hill. And this is the chopper that Mr. Slayton claims to have flown in Vietnam in 1974.
Wow.
1974, there were no troops. There were no combat troops in Vietnam. The Paris Peace Accords were already in place. If there had been a Cobra fly over Vietnam, Cambodia in 1974, it would have been an international incident.
Wow.
He's one of the more egregious ones. There's more out there, but right off the top of my head, his story is what pushed for Arizona to get this Stolen Valor Act.
Well, we appreciate your time so much, and we're going to keep watching. It's very rare in our political climate to have near unanimous opinion. But this is the closest thing we've had to that here in Arizona, I think, in our legislature in a long time. So thanks for your time, and let's stay in touch.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Hey, now on to that other story we promised you. If you're just getting going with the news today, there's a story. If any of you are old enough to remember the TV show Lassie, there's like a real life version of it's a little boy, and there's the dog that brings him to safety. So Lindsay Regas has the story this morning from all the way up in Seligman. I'm going to let you guys roll it. Go ahead.
Little blonde kid was with them, and I knew it was that kid, you know.
2-year-old Bowden of Seligman walked onto rancher Scotty Denton's property early Tuesday morning, ending a widespread search effort for the missing boy.
I told him, I said, you're the toughest 2-year-old I've ever seen, and my kids were pretty tough.
Bowden was with the rancher's dog, now credited with keeping the 2-year-old safe overnight.
His name's Buford. He's a Anatolian Pyrenees dog. He picked him up at least a mile out, so I don't know how far past that he found him, but he hung with him, so brought him back here, so that was a good dog.
Around 8 a.m., Scotty found the pair standing at the main gate of his property.
And that's his track right there. Now, when I got the little kid calmed down, I asked him, I said, did you walk all night? And he said, no, I slept under a tree. And I said, did my dog find you? And he said, yep. And I said, you just followed my dog? When he goes, yep. And the dog brought him back here.
Bowden was found 7 miles from his home. He spent hours walking alone through dangerous terrain. Search and rescue encountered 2 mountain lions in the area while looking for him.
It's rough country. I mean, it's all you see. It's all big mountains and canyons, and he went over 3 little mountain ranges to get here. There's a big power line that goes from his place over the hill into my place. I'm guessing he probably got in that power line on the road and just started following the road and just kept going.
Scotty helped the boy until law enforcement arrived.
He wanted string cheese, so I gave him 2 string cheese, and he drank about a gallon of water. And
Later Tuesday morning, Bowden was reunited with his family.
I took him out to put him in the truck for the sheriff's deputy, and I put him in the seat, and he's no. And I said, buddy, he's taking you to your mom. He's like, no, you need to go. You go. He just locked onto my neck, so I crawled in, and away we went.
Endings, and this one couldn't have been happier or more amazing. All right, we're going to take a quick break and then be back with, by the way, did you know it's wear your PJs to work day? So what am I doing? We got to get going on that, right? That's for sure. So we'll be back in just 2 quick minutes. If you want to put them in 1, 2, 3, that'd be perfect.
Are people talking about being in their PJs?
Oh, stand by. Here we go. Hey, we're back. You know, we do a thing called the mystery cam.
Yes, we do.
But here at 1045, this is no mystery. If you've ever been over to LA and you just kept driving on the 10 to where it dead ends, it's Santa Monica, and there's the pier, and it looks like a pretty nice day at the beach, Celeste.
It looks like a very nice day. They've had this weird marine layer that has been lingering for several days.
Yeah.
Into like the afternoon hours. And you heard about the earthquake in San Diego?
I did, and some of the video actually is the dog scampering across the floor.
Yeah.
You know, some of those other videos?
I think it was out near Julian, the community of Julian. Ron, in the chat box though, were you talking about PJs or working from home? Or
Okay,
what's
so
happening?
Celeste,
People are saying,
you have been so busy, and I haven't even had a chance to tell you, but now that we're going to an hour, we're going to do a new segment where we chat a little bit about, let you guys know at home, did you know that today is wear your PJs to work day?
oh.
Do you love that?
I love it.
Okay.
So we should have worn like our silk jammies or like our robe.
Yeah, we should have.
Like
right?
a robe?
Yes.
Yeah, and slippers.
Yeah, for
the
sure.
whole thing.
But if you, I can see what needs to happen here. Whenever you guys need to walk in front of the camera, just go for it.
Go on.
Go for it.
Okay, there's Trenton.
There's Trenton. Oh, hold on, Trenton. Trenton, come back. Now come back and over
Can you put your
here,
face?
and then give us a wave.
Hey, Ron.
There.
Hi,
Perfect. Okay. The next person you see walking across camera will be Anita.
And then the next will be Ty.
Well, because she and Ty are getting ready. This is the beauty of going an hour.
Yeah, it's going to be so awesome.
Now you get a chance to just keep rolling with us.
Yep.
And we're going to hand it off to Ty and
And I don't know
Anita.
if you noticed, but we have a couple people who are watching on Roku.
Oh,
And
great.
they said on Roku, they can watch the show, and they
Yeah.
have it on for the full hour.
Oh,
So thank
that's
you
so
in the
great.
chat box.
Well,
Yes.
it should be working that way on the Fox Local app as well, and also on YouTube. So now that we're here for you, hanging out with you for a full hour, some of our super loyal, like Linda and Lisa and Sherry, got to
And-
be so happy
And
today.
now Patricia Randolph.
Okay.
She's one of our newer viewers, I believe.
Okay,
And
yeah,
she's chiming
yeah.
in. She says she wears her PJs at home.
Oh, yes.
While she's working from home. And she wears her chanclas. Do you know what chanclas are,
No,
Ron? They're
what are
like
they?
sandals in Spanish.
Oh,
like
okay.
Like a Spanish slang.
Okay.
Chanclas.
I'm going to start calling my flip-flops chuckless.
There you go.
How about that? Okay, so not only is it wear your PJs to work day, it's the day of the mushroom. Do you like mushrooms?
Oh, I
Celeste,
do.
or-
I do. And with a big juicy steak.
Yes, right.
Perfect.
Yeah. I had never eaten a mushroom in my life until I started dating Renee.
Oh, really?
And it was on one of our first dates, and she's like, if you're buying a steak, you got to put mushrooms on it. Now I'm hooked.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Simmered in butter.
Yes. Okay. Today is also National Banana Day. What is the best way, Celeste, to have a banana? Do you just like it raw, or would you be more of, I don't know, you're mixing it up in a milkshake kind of a thing, or
all
like
the-
a banana split at DQ? Come
All
on.
the above, but I will say, like, if I'm hungry at home, I'll do a banana and I'll put peanut butter on it.
Ooh.
And and maybe drizzle some honey.
Yeah.
So good.
You know, I actually said to myself, because, we're here all day, and so we kind of eat on the run. And I
Yes,
said to
we
myself
do.
a few months ago, I'm going to start having a banana every day with some peanut butter. Then I never made it happen.
Oh, you should make it happen.
Yeah, I really should.
Today's banana day, Ron. Did you know that? Today would be the day to make it happen.
Yeah, I think I heard that. Deja vu.
Who told me that? Somebody told me
Somebody
that.
did. Okay, it's also Reveal Your Inner Genius Day. So Celeste,
Yes.
if you were going to describe that you're a genius in one area, hold it. No, I got a better idea. You tell me what I'm a genius at,
That's
and
better.
I will tell you what you are a genius
That
at.
sounds much more humble, Ron.
Okay, ready? You go for me first. Go ahead. What?
I could mention many things, my friend.
Okay.
But you are a genius at history.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're a genius at just knowing all kinds of different things, and you've been everywhere. We talked about this yesterday on the stream, that you love to travel.
I still, I'm not kidding, I still try to sing along with Johnny Cash when that song pops up on my playlist.
But I need to mention a few
everywhere.
others, because you're a genius at making toast,
Okay.
which he makes during the show.
That was the
sometimes at work.
compliment I was fishing for, everybody.
And you are a genius at the job. Ad-libbing. If we had, which we have no prompters here, but that is the best part of the newscast, is when the prompters go out and all the scripts are out the door, and we just get to hang at the desk and chat.
You are a genius at you are by far the most organized person I've ever met in my life.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you guys knew Celeste's whole schedule, first of all, she's a soccer mom. You're always running, anytime I call you after the show, you're, running any one of your 3 kids to some sporting event.
Right.
You do the morning show. Then we do this stream together now, an hour every day. I understand they're working on another show for you here on the stream as well.
Yes, that's right.
And then you've been a professor at ASU and GCU.
Yes.
It's amazing. And then every time you and Ty are ad-libbing about like some movie you watched on Netflix the night before, I'm like, where does she have the time?
Well, I'm watching the show as I'm on the treadmill or as I'm on the bike.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention she works out almost every day.
Oh wait, and I have a husband.
Oh,
so
yeah, that's right.
But I will tell you, Ron, I think sometimes people think, well, they ask me this, why do you teach? Like, why do you, and I think it's not me that I'm learning, it's not the kids that I feel like I'm teaching them something, although we give them life experience, the type of information. But I feel like I'm learning more from them.
Yeah.
Like, what's going on TikTok? Like, what's hot out there? What do you love to do? What's the news you're following?
They're keeping you young.
Yeah, so they're learning from me, but I'm learning just as much from them.
Yeah, that's
really
great. Hey, by the way, one other thing. It's Holy Day, Holy Wednesday, which, we're heading up into Easter here. So this is the day that marks the moment when Judas agreed to betray Jesus for 30 pieces of silver.
Bad decision.
Bad decision.
Not enough silver for sure.
I mean, I wonder if he knew that his name was going to be held in that regard for the eons to come, like Benedict Arnold.
I'm hoping
only 2, Judas and Benedict Arnold. Correct?
See what I mean about the history.
Right. By the way, tomorrow is Holy Thursday, meaning that was the day of the Last Supper.
Oh, yeah.
And so, anyway, if you're celebrating Easter, then Good Friday comes. So we want to wish everybody a happy Easter. And of course, we always remember Passover as well. So Celeste.
Yes, Ron.
You may have noticed in one of the headlines here for this hour-long extravaganza we're doing for everybody.
Yes.
One of the headlines said, so now there are ant smugglers?
Hold on, Ron.
What? Okay,
I have to really tell the people in the chat, you are amazing.
What?
When I said you're a genius at toast, S. Dot said toast master.
That's good. Who was that said that?
S. Dot.
Yeah.
So
we have it here in a gigantic screen. So, that's cool.
You guys are so good in the chat. So
I know.
funny.
They're funnier than we are.
They are. You guys are hilarious.
And that's saying something.
And Ocean Girl 505 said this hour has gone by way too fast.
Well, I know. We got to wrap it up in just a minute or two. And either Ty or Anita at like 56, I think, is going to come over and join us. But just one other thing. This ant smuggling story really has me a little flummoxed. But here's what we have learned so far. Why would anybody bother to actually smuggle ants? Here's the answer to this ridiculous story. So there were 2 guys in Belgium who were found with all of these ants. And I mean, that's one little tube that they were carrying them in. I think this was like a major operation. Apparently ant smuggling has become a thing, but we haven't really learned about it until today, what with the arrest.
So what's the point of smuggling ants?
Okay,
They're selling them.
Very glad that you asked about that. Yeah, a court in Kenya accepted guilty pleas. Let me see what else we have here for some video for you. Look at these guys right here. So is this the way they do mugshots now? It looks like a boy band.
And I think they're photoshopped.
Yeah.
This is the cover of their new album, Ron, and it's called Ant Farm.
Okay, that's actually a good name. All right, so anyway, 5,000 ants they got caught smuggling out of Kenya when they landed in Belgium, I believe. They say, look, Judge, we were just collecting them for fun. We had no idea it was against the law to take ants out of the country. They had 5,000. Can you imagine if they got loose on that plane?
Like not snakes on a plane,
Correct.
but ants on the plane.
know.
That would be a very itchy flight. Painful.
Anyway, the court did not buy the argument and said this is a conspiracy to smuggle ants. Anyway, so these two guys were arrested, and then the other two that we just showed you, all four, were found to have had ants inside their guest house. So I don't even know how they got out of the country, but packed inside were test tubes filled with cotton in an effort to keep the ants alive. Obviously, you got to do that as well.
Do you know the song they played as they were, Anita, welcome to the
Hello,
Stream
good
Studio.
morning.
Do you know the song they played as they were walking into the jail cell?
What?
The ants go marching one by one, hurrah, hurrah. The ants go marching one by one, hurrah, hurrah.
Now we have a band.
I sang along because I wanted to know what the next verse is. Do
The
you guys
ants
not
go
remember?
marching one by
okay.
one. The little one stopped to suck his thumb, and they all go marching
that's the
down to
best.
the ground to
Okay.
get out
Right.
of the
I'm
rain.
impressed that you know the lyrics.
I don't know where I learned
song.
it, but we know it.
So here is
Very impressed.
here's one of the questions we ask ourselves.
Yes.
Why would anybody leave this kind of fun and merriment and information here on the Fox 10 streaming service when you know that we're just going to keep it rolling with Ty and Anita?
All day long, all day
Yes.
long. We're
All
just
day
gonna, you know what
long.
we're gonna do? We're gonna get a baton,
Yeah.
and you'll pass it on to us, and then when we're done, we'll pass it on to you, and then we'll just,
Nice.
we'll just keep passing it on.
Be like the old Jerry Lewis telethon.
They're
right?
never going to let
Yeah.
us go home.
Anita, what have you guys got coming up?
Okay, think back.
Okay.
When you travel,
Yes.
airplane,
Yes.
Uber.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you've ever left behind where you're like, gosh, I really needed that, or how
Water,
do I?
water bottle.
Like
if I'm thirsty.
like one of those really nice, fancy
like
ones.
a hydro. Yeah.
Oh,
like a,
yeah.
I
water
actually
bottle.
left a camera. It was a really nice
You
Nikon.
did?
Yeah.
Did you get it back?
No, and it had a nice roll of film in it too. I was all bummed.
I wonder-
This is film. That's how long ago
I wonder
it
if
was.
someone developed your photos
I
and
know.
maybe they're like on the dark web
Somebody
somewhere.
had them.
Probably. All right,
It's your
so
film, Ron.
Well, we have a representative from the Phoenix Sky Harbor Airport here,
okay.
and she has a suitcase full of things people have left behind. So